All right, how we doing, guys? Nick again from Pavilion. I just want to do up a video in regards to what is the differences between CO2 and propane systems. Why would I use CO2 systems? Why would I use propane systems or propane gas? And a few common questions regarding the matter. I've seen this being asked quite a lot on the internet and through our new exposure to gas blowback systems. So I just wanted to clarify a few things and hopefully get the ball thinking and maybe clear up a few questions you had. So first things first, is green gas propane? Yes, green gas is propane. Green gas in the airsoft world is a compressed propane gas with added silicon oil molecules inside the gas. So as the gas is traveling through your pistol system, it's consistently being lubricated. So you can use a propane system. You can use a propane system like this. These bottles are available from Bunnings. This is a nozzle to fill up a green gas sort of valve system through magazines and such. And this is your silicon oil port. So as you're filling with just pure propane, you can add a few drops of silicon oil into your nozzle cap here. And then this little reservoir will add the correct ratio of propane to oil as needed to create green gas. All right, so what is better, CO2 or green gas / propane? Now, there's obviously two sides to the sword. Whether you want a realistic kickback, whether you want reliable FPS, whether you're in atmospheric conditions, you want reliable performance, you're pretty much going to want to be able to select which gas you want for which situation. CO2 gives a more realistic kick. So if you're basically, I'm going to go through CO2 first. CO2, you're going to have a more realistic kickback. It's going to be a higher pressure. You're going to receive a little bit more FPS out of your system. You're going to get less temp change to performance change. So say, for example, it's a colder day, it's a winter day, you're not going to get as much performance hindrance compared to green gas, which is very temperature atmospheric reliant. So you'll get less change in your performance and have more reliable performance with CO2. So you have more varied FPS range. So what I mean by that is you might, on average, say for example, you had a cold day, negative 10, let's just say that as an example. You might actually you'd get more varied FPS in general with CO2 rather than propane. And you're also going to have more expensive. So your bulb costs of CO2 bulbs, I think they're $1.70 from Azrael's at the moment each. So on one bulb lasts you maybe 2-3 magazines. So you're gonna have more expensive ongoing costs if you're going to keep buying CO2 bulbs to run your magazines. So that's pretty much CO2 in general. To sum it up, you're going to have a more realistic kickback. You're going to have less temperature change to performance change, so there's less interference with that. You're going to get a general more varied FPS range, not in relation to temperature, just in general performance. And you're going to get more expensive system to run because you require bulbs. So with propane, on the other hand, or green gas, same, you've got easier refills. So you're not required to take out a cap each and every single time in the bottom of your magazine to replace your bulb. It's basically just a magazine that's, a valve that's exposed on the bottom of the magazine that you're going to plug the end of the nozzle into. So there's no real getting any O-rings pinched or having to align or redo the cap up or needing a tool. All you really need is a bottle, that valve on the top, and you're pretty much ready to go. No tools needed whatsoever. More reliable FPS range. So you're going to get a more accurate FPS range with propane in the general nature of running propane. So whether it's, whether it's both conditions are the exact same, say for example, 5 degrees and 5 degrees Celsius, you're going to pretty much get a more accurate FPS range out of propane than you are with your CO2 range or CO2 systems. And However, propane does actually change FPS more with atmospheric temperature. So you always hear people saying, put your magazines in your underwear and that sort of thing, heat them up, especially if you're running propane, because you'll get a better performance increase, a higher FPS with heating up a propane or keeping a propane mag warm. So it's better in summer environments, not so good in cold environments, snowy environments, that sort of thing. So not for us over here in Queensland and Australia, we don't really mind. Propane is fine to run because our temperature generally on the southern hemisphere is more warm. And you'll also have the cheaper reliability costs, the running costs. So cheaper running costs mean that, instead of having to buy a $1.70 bulb and then you got to replace all the O-rings if they get pinched because you won't need to undo the valve in the green gas system. You're going to have cheaper ongoing costs with your propane systems or your green gas. All you really need to buy is just your bottle, as well as the valve on the end, and you're pretty much laughing to go. So it's very, very cheap to consistently run. So this was just a little segment on just how to run these sort of things and how to clear up your head about a few CO2 versus propane arguments. I hope it helps. As always, guys, thank you for your time. Like, subscribe, share this video around. Hope it helps people understand the differences and why we would choose one over the other, weighing up the differences between the two. So thank you, guys, and thank you from pistolpavilion.com.au. Cheers.